Martin Hanzel was drafted in the first round, 17th overall by the Phoenix Coyotes in the 2005 NHL entry draft. Hanzel would spend the 2006-2007 season in the WHL playing for the Red Deer Rebels, where in 60 games he would score 26 goals, 59 assists for 85 points, as well as played in 6 playoff games scoring 2 goals and 7 assists. Hanzel would make his NHL debut during the 07-08 season, where he would play in 72 games scoring 8 goals and 27 assists for 35 points. The 08-09 season, Hanzel would play in 74 games, 2 more than the previous year, and score 11 goals, 3 more than the previous year, while only recording 20 assists for 31 points. A slight decrease in assists and points, however, the goals and games played were going up. 2009-2010, Hanzel would play in a career-high 81 games, scoring another 11 goals, recording 22 assists, and improving his point total to 33. Hanzel would also make his NHL playoff debut in the 2010 playoffs, where he would play in all 7 games and record 3 assists in a hard-fought loss to the Detroit Red Wings. The 2010-2011 season would see the realistic decline of Martin Hanzel start, but not in the context of his talent. Hanzel had started to develop injury issues, and from this point on, he would only play in 65 or more games 2 more times before the end of his career. As for the 2010-2011 season, Hanzel would play in 61 games and score a career high at that point 16 goals while only recording 10 assists and 26 points. Hanzel would play in all 4 games of the 2011 playoffs, scoring his first NHL playoff goal, 1 goal, 2 assists, and 3 points. In October of 2011, Martin Hanzel was actually named an alternate captain for the Coyotes, and during the 2011-2012 season, Hanzel would play in 64 games, a few more than the last season, scoring only 8 goals but 26 assists for 34 points, giving Hanzel his 4th 30 or more point season in his first 5 years. Moving on to the 2012 playoffs, Hanzel would play in 12 games, scoring 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points, including an overtime winner against the Chicago Blackhawks. Moving on to the lockout-shortened 2012-2013 season, Hanzel would only miss a few games, playing in 39 games, scoring 11 goals more than the season prior, but only recording 12 assists, which was significantly less than the previous season, recording 23 points. However, it was a shortened season, so less point production was to be expected. Hanzel would follow the lockout-shortened season up with a then-career year in 2013-2014, where Hanzel would play in 65 games, scoring 15 goals and 25 assists for his first 40-point season. Unfortunately, he would follow that up in the 2014-2015 season, playing in a then-career low 37 games, scoring only 8 goals and 16 assists for 24 points. To continue the roller coaster ride, in 2015-2016, Hanzel would play in 64 games, scoring 13 goals and 28 assists for a career-high 41 points. He would never top that. Moving into the 2016-2017 season, Hanzel would play in 51 games, scoring 16 goals and 10 assists for 26 points as a member of the Arizona Coyotes. But then on February 26, 2017, he was traded to the Minnesota Wild along with Ryan White and a 2017 4th-round pick for Grayson Downing, a 2017 first, a 2018 second, and a 2019 conditional 4th-round pick. To finish off the 16-17 season in Minnesota, Hanzel would play in 20 games, score 4 goals and 9 assists for 13 points, and finally, for the first time in his career, become a 20-goal scorer. Unfortunately, like most career highs during contract years, Hanzel would never repeat that achievement. On top of that, Hanzel would play in the NHL playoffs for the final time in his career in 2017, playing in 5 games and scoring 1 goal for the Minnesota Wild. Hanzel would not end up re-signing with Minnesota, and on July 1st, 2017, Martin Hanzel would sign a 3-year, $14.25 million contract with the Dallas Stars. In 2017-2018, Martin Hanzel would only play in 38 games and score 5 goals and 5 assists for 10 points in Dallas, and in 2018-2019, Hanzel would play in a career-low 7 games, record 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points. Then during the final year of his contract, 2019-2020, Hanzel would not play a single game all year. Injuries had limited Martin Hanzel to only 45 games over those 3 seasons, only playing in 2 of those seasons, and the writing really was on the wall. Finally, on October 26, 2020, Martin Hanzel announced his retirement from the NHL after 12 seasons. Over those 12 seasons, Martin Hanzel would play in 673 games, score 127 goals, 211 assists for 338 points, and a career plus-minus of -43. In the playoffs, Martin Hanzel would play in 28 games, score 5 goals and 8 assists for 13 career points. When I look back on Martin Hanzel's career and the many years that I got to watch him play as a member of the Phoenix/Arizona Coyotes, the one thing that really comes to mind is the fact that he was a ridiculously talented player that never reached his full potential because of 2 primary reasons. First and foremost, he developed injury issues relatively early on in his career, which limited the amount of ice time that he had and the amount of games that he played, which overall is going to limit his opportunity to not only play at 100% but also be able to score more points and goals. Finally, whether it was due to the injuries or not, there were plenty of times where Martin Hanzel just wasn't the hardest working guy on the ice, and that ended up squandering a lot of opportunities. Now, don't mistake my words, I don't think Martin Hanzel is a lazy player. I just distinctly remember plenty of times, especially earlier on in games, games, where Hanzal reminded me a lot of Mike York. He would just kind of skate up and down the ice without really doing much. Except for those two things I mentioned, Martin Hanzel was a really good player, and it just really sucked because I saw the potential for this guy to be a 30-goal scorer, and especially when he was playing with Ray Whitney and Radim Verbata, those were some magical times, and he really was part of this core. He was one of the best players on the Phoenix Coyotes for a good few years. It was just the injuries that really held him back, because Martin Hanzel had the size. He had a good shot, he was a decent facilitator, but he was especially useful at just planting in front of the net and blinding the goaltender. Unfortunately, that style of play likely ended up causing him some of these injury problems, because not only do people that are taller naturally tend to develop back issues, but when you have defenders and goaltenders smacking you in the spine with a hockey stick every single night, your back is eventually going to become injured, and especially for taller athletes, once you have one back injury, you will likely suffer more. So to Martin Hanzel, enjoy your retirement, and I hope that your back isn't in too bad a shape so you can at least continue to live your life and enjoy time with your family. You're always going to be one of my favorite Coyotes, and I genuinely enjoy getting to watch you for as many years as I did.